Hello, today I want to talk about the mineral or the stone known as obsidian. We'll talk about the potential uses and benefits of obsidian. I'm mostly going to be talking about black obsidian. And this piece, which is a reasonable size, was actually gifted to me on the streets of Mullumbimby, which is a town in the lands of Oamaru, otherwise known as Australia. Probably the nearest town that most people would know would be Byron Bay, and Mullumbimby has a lot of elements that Byron Bay potentially had once upon a time. Not too long ago though. And anyway, so this man had been in the bush for over a week and he had a massive backpack filled with huge black obsidian stones like this, and I was busking on the street and he sat down nearby and pulled this out after a while and gifted it to me. He was also in a very interesting state of being. There's a whole lot of symbology in the story. I won't go into that in the details, but yes. So the source of this stone, well, obviously it can be found in a place like Australia, but also can be found in places like Mexico, Central America, Canada, and US. Now I'm mostly talking about, as I said before, the black obsidian. Can come in other colors as well. So this one, the vibration would be what some people would call is quite earthly. It's a bit slower in its vibration compared to something like a Lemurian quartz or some of the other crystals. The physiology in which it can be good to work with is things like digestion, detoxification, arteries, prostate as well, which I thought was quite interesting, joints and circulation. Now the energy points, energy spaces, places on the body, sometimes known as chakras, that this can be good to work with is the Earth Star, the base, and the sacral. Again, more of those sort of lower chakras, if we're going to use that kind of terminology. And it can be cleansed in, from what I'm aware, all types of cleansing. However, best to do your own research before you start doing all sorts of crazy things with the stone to cleanse it. It's often known as a deep soul cleanser and the warrior of truths. Once upon a time, in particular cultures, it was used as part of weaponry, and then it started to be used more for homewares as well, so sort of kitchen utensils, tools like that. Shamans and healers of particular cultures around the world would use it for particular spiritual purposes. The Mayans honoured it, and then the Aztecs did as well. For particular purposes, it's quite a grounding stone and really does connect you to the earth. I had a feeling that the man that gave it to me was experiencing maybe too much. It was the energy of these stones were just a little bit too much for let's just say they were too much for whatever he was going through in that moment. And him being able to release a stone from his bag was almost like him having to then take some of what he was experiencing off his back, literally. So yeah, it also can be good for clearing energy that no longer serves. Recently, I learned in feng shui, it's often placed near the front door, which is where mine is actually being placed for many years now. And it is an area of the room or of the space or of the house or the property that is often associated with career. So you can do your own research on that, your own experiment if you'd like. And it can be quite good for things like self-control, reversing misuse of power, addressing power issues on all levels. And it doesn't cater to the ego. It will expose darkness of the subconscious that one has to face to the surface. And it's quite protective. However, because it's black, and from my own research and my own engagement with dark stones, dark coloured stones, especially black stones, they require very frequent cleansing probably more often than most other stones. Just because of, well, I shouldn't say just because it is black, because it will absorb a lot of what one might call the darkness. Cleansing is very important, especially if you're using it frequently. So, yes, it can also potentially not be a very good stone to work with if it's not being cleansed and if you've got too much of it. Hence, again, going back to the story, the man with the backpack full of obsidian that he had extracted out of a mountain. So yes, that is what I wanted to share today about the stone of obsidian. And you're welcome to leave any comments, any questions down below in the comment section. And you can also reach out to me on various social media platforms. The links of those are in the description box below, especially if you're watching this on the YouTube platform. And I will see you in the next vlog.